What is up, Tetsuki shoguns? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we're getting closer to the ending of Gundam Burai. Last time, that sneaky Kuroboshi mentioned that there was a secret group called the Amatsu Research Institute, who created artificial humans. Kotetsu is one of these artificial humans. He fought Ikuruga of the Void, who turned out to be Amahodo Ryuji. This time, Chiyo goes full princess mode. The final battle begins in Shizuoka, and Onis attack the Sankin Kotai, so let's get into this. After slicing Kotetsu in the chest, Ryuji seems to be retaining some old memories. We flash back to the past. Gundam Burai is pierced by a giant spear. Ryuji is running into the forest. He is trying to lure the mysterious man away, but he happens to be right in front of him. The mysterious man, who calls himself Rei Amatsu, just killed Amahodo Engine for revenge. Whatever the Amatsu Research Institute was working on, Amatsu seems to be in on it, and is mad that he lost his investment. He says that the two are like distant relatives, and then he chokes a bitch. He will force Ryuji to work for him. He will learn to loathe the Gundam. In the present, Chiyo comes to see if it truly is her brother Ryuji. His memories of the past come flooding back into his head. Convenient timing. He freaks out and gets into the Garuda and leaves. Screw my responsibilities. Kisaragi Senri approaches and tells Chiyo to stand up. She is confused, sad, and very lost. But all that stops being a problem when Kisaragi slaps Chiyo. She tells the princess to get it together. Every moment of self-reflection in Gundam must be followed by a slap. Susanoo handles fixing up Gundam Burai. Kisaragi wants to talk to Kuroboshi. They take Kotetsu to Ueda Clan's medical center. Meanwhile, Kisaragi and Marumoto Genzo start grappling Kuroboshi for hiding secrets from them. He did it because Amahodo Engine asked him to. Meanwhile, the Tetsuki Smiths take off the armor to reveal that the entire Gundam is self-healing. Susanoo says it's like scabs. Her grandpa and the Kimoto team come to help her out. Dogen Kimoto mentions that back during the incident with the Sugaru clan, they found something. Recently, it started up on its own. Then blueprints showed up on a screen. Just like the correct century, they found some old technology and reverse engineered the blueprints. They have new armor for Gundam Burai, but Susanoo has to make the finishing tweaks since she knows the Tetsuki the best. They're going to make a new Tetsuki that Kotetsu will be proud of. They have a month until the next match. Susanoo gets to work. In a nearby village, the Snake Oni terrorizes citizens. Raibu, aka Yukimitsu, heads out in Burumaru. Raibu says Mikaru Kaeshi no Tama, or Jewel of Resuscitation. This is a reference to the 10 sacred treasures in Shintoism. All the keys that are trying to be collected by this Rei Amatsu are a tip of the hat to Shintoism, as Amatsukami is the heavenly deity of Takamagahara. Takamagahara is pretty much heaven. Raibu realizes that this is the man who killed his family and begins attacking. Rei Amatsu killed his family, but they never told him where the Chikaeshi no Tama is, or the jewel of turning back on the road. This is the key of the Sonata family. Rei Amatsu will destroy all of the Ueda to find this. Raibu says, I don't even know anything about this jewel. That is when an Inro pops out of the cockpit containing the jewel. So much for plausible deniability. Since the attack with the Spider Onis, they really don't have the resources for another fight on Ueda soil. He doesn't know what to do. Finally, he decides to hand over the jewel while proclaiming he will crush him. Amatsu Rei says that everything will come together in Shizuoka, where the finals will take place. Raibu tells Chiyo and Amatsu Rei. He also says, oh, by the way, I'm also second to the Sonata family and acting leader of the Ueda clan. You missed a bunch of stuff. He wants to help the princess get her brother back. When Kuroboshi was at the Amatsu Institute, he heard stories of someone named Amatsu from the old era. When he was young, he found a book from the Mankind Union Force that had records of old battles. It has a picture of this Amatsu. It seems to be the person Kuroboshi was cloned from. Remember, Kuroboshi and Shiraboshi are also clones. He saw a girl in the photo and he felt something for her. But these aren't his feelings. There has to be a reason Tokugo made the final battle set as Shizuoka. That is when Hanzo makes his appearance. This was Kotetsu's first opponent in the Sankin Kotai. He said he found this guy that sounded like he had something important to say, so he brought him here. It happens to be Gakyo Rojin Manji. Shiraboshi is starstruck by the famous painter. She doesn't get excited about anything. He is the second generation. His mentor, the original Gakyo Rojin, used to proclaim that he was from the old era and was put in cold sleep. He provides the princess with the 36 views of Mount Fuji. These were 36 ukiyo-e paintings that depict Fujisan by the Great Hokusai. You most likely know the most noticeable painting, the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Gakyo Rojin Manji proclaims this is from the old era, which means this isn't just a nod and a series of references to Edo Japan. Edo Japan actually happened, society fell, And the Japanese recreated the Edo era, but this time with robots. They look at the drawings. Ryuji returns to Tokugo. He rushes back to ask him a question. Tokugo instantly realizes that he retained his true memories. He wants to know why he was chosen as one of the 4 heavenly kings. He says some try to continue spinning the wheel of the past while others become cogs to help start anew. Tokugo says they have to destroy the past to build the future. He asks Amahodo Ryuji what type of person he is. Chiyo and Shiraboshi check on Kotetsu only for him to have vanished. Shiraboshi has Hetsukagami, or Mirror of the Shore, one of the 10 sacred treasures. We cut to the past, where Kotetsu, Shiraboshi, and Kuroboshi talk sometime after Injin's death. Kotetsu feels responsible. In the present, Chiyo goes to look for him. She finds him floating out in the water while thinking of becoming a Gundam. Chiyo pulls him out and tells him to never leave her side. Time for a hug, but no kissing. We don't do that. Maybe a handshake. Suddenly, something appears underwater. It is another Oni Tetsuki with a long neck. It is reacting to Chiyo's jewel. The two bicker while swimming away. The Oni is attacked by Shiraboshi. She summons the Tetsuki beast, Komainu. There is no data on this Tetsuki, but it is called Komainu, so we could use context clues. Komainu, or lion dogs, are the guardians in front of temples to ward off evil spirits. Shiraboshi also yells Shishi, which is Komainu in Chinese. One has an open mouth and the other has a closed mouth to represent life and death, yin and yang, and all that jazz. Like the real Komainu, so too do these two have an open mouth, but one with fire and one with a closed mouth. Kisaragi brings Kotetsu Injin's sword called the Ryuseito, which means meteor sword, post-Meiji restoration. Enomoto Takeaki, found a meteorite while in Russia, and eventually was used to forge 5 swords. Go read up on Enomoto Takeaki, interesting dude. However, Kotetsu's sword turns into a Super Sentai sword, so I feel like there's some Super Sentai pun that I'm missing here. Back at the hangar, the Gundam reacts to Kotetsu using the sword. Susanoo knows that means Kotetsu is awake. Kisaragi says that he doesn't need the Gundam to protect the princess. It would be a disservice to the Kisaragi school also. Shiraboshi cuts off the head of the Oni, but it slithers towards Kotetsu. He slices the head right down to the middle perfectly. He's still injured from the previous battle. Kisaragi says that she is going to retrain Kotetsu. They believe that the ukiyo-ways are showing 36 points around Mount Fuji to light something in the sky called the Heavenly Star. They believe that this may be Mikaboshi. Kisaragi and Kotetsu train. He is getting his ass kicked. Chiyo is heading to Shizuoka, which is the city near Mount Fuji. Kotetsu will meet up with them. She is going to handle Ryuji. It is now the day of the final match. Everyone gathers, including Raibu and Ageha. The Kyoto and Osaka representatives are already fighting one another before the match. Tokugo gives a speech, but the Kyoto representative interjects. He says, "Hey man, everyone's sacred jewel is getting jacked, and Onis are appearing everywhere. Are you trying to burn this all down?" He saw straight through his plan instantly. He ignores and cuts him off. This final match is a battle royale. Last one standing is the winner. Right as the match begins, someone is attacked from a non-participant. It is the Onis along with many zombie Tetsukis. They are surrounded. Tokugo says, "Alright, let's do this." His castle transforms into a giant Tetsuki called Tetsuki Castle Jiang. This has the head of the Jiang from Universal Century, but the rest looks like those late 80s, early 90s McDonald's Happy Meal toys. They postpone their fight to take care of the Onis. Meanwhile, the princess uses her charm to enter a secret lair where they meet Amatsure. Kuroboshi and Shiraboshi attack. 2 minions fight the 2 ninjas. Shiraboshi realizes that they are fighting humanoid Tetsuki puppets. Amatsure goes to attack Chiyo, but she punches him in the face. Inside the Jiang are dozens of Rokudos who fire at the Onis. The Kyoto representatives kill a bunch of Onis with a chant. The giant Tetsuki suddenly stops moving. We flash back to Tokugo asking Ryuji what kind of person he is. Ryuji says he will continue helping Tokugo. He wants him to head to Fuji and find the sacred treasure and cut down the Oni's pawn. He dons the mask and returns to being Ikuruga of the Void. In the present, Ikuruga comes to save Chiyo. He will tell her everything after all this is over. For now, he must take out Amatsure. Abisu of the Tide comes in. He is drawn with squinty eyes, but he opens one to reveal that he has one of the jewels. He says that he is the one and only Gundam with this final jewel. All the power from everyone's sacred treasures goes into Amatsure's sword. Everyone tries to stop it, but Amatsu is now superpowered. Outside, the Jiang begins firing on everyone. Tokugo is no longer in control of the Tetsuki. Also, all the Rokudos are under Abisu's control. Kotetsu approaches and summons his Gundam. Look who's late to the party! He summons the new Gundam Burai, Shinnuchi. And that will do it for this episode. Chiyo has finally got the strength to stand up for the Amahodo clan. Too bad it was kind of undermined by having Ryuji save her. Tokugo's desire to destroy the system to start anew is probably in part due to Abisu of the Tide, who seems to be a human Tetsuki hybrid. This was relatively tame. I was wondering when the weird was going to show itself. Next time we will conclude Mobile War History Gundam Burai. We will learn more about Kotetsu's new upgrade. Madara will summon the God Tree to try to reclaim Kaguya's power. Wait, no, Matsure will summon Gundam Sarutahiko to try to reclaim the power of the old era. Totally different story. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, it's always the advisor of the bad guy who is actually the real bad guy. Peace.